And now, a conversation piece. This is The Rundown.
Welcome everybody to another exciting discussion here at A Week in Geekdom. I am so happy that you could join us for this epic video, and I am talking, and I'm sorry for the bad language, but I am talking about the shit-tastic Fantastic Four movie that I just saw. This is another episode of The Rundown. I've not recorded in like 3 to 4 months, so I'm so sorry. And actual content since December of 2014. I am so sorry, guys. Yeah, this is the brand new season, the brand new style. We're here. Let's do this. Fantastic Four. What did I think of it? Oh my god, it was so bad. I was not expecting this movie to suck. It's just fucking horrible. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry I have to drop an F-bomb. Ryan, if you're out there watching. It was just bad, man. It was a 100-minute movie where nothing happened. It was just dark, gritty visuals after dark, gritty visuals with horrible misrepresentation of characters. Johnny Storm was way off the mark. Reed Richards was a little subtle, not to my liking, but I thought Miles Teller did a commendable job as Reed Richards. I thought, if anything, this is more like the Ultimate version, so I really liked his style. I know it's not for everybody, and you'll just say the whole movie sucked, but I think there are some few bright spots here and there. Miles' earlier interpretation of Reed, but I'll go into detail later. Kate Mara as Susan Storm, I thought it was pretty cool. The characters seemed a little bit too cold and just not right, but I thought at least she looked the part. I thought she looked beautiful. Kate Mara is just amazing to me. Definitely one of my crushes. And of course Ben Grimm, the no genitalia, naked Grimm, which was weird, man. And especially that voiceover they did with him, that was just god awful. But the actual movie, all right. Obviously, this is not based on a particular storyline, and it shows because they're just winging the shit out of it. And they made up as they went along and just introduced some concepts from obviously the 616 with these characters, the real characters from the Marvel Universe. You see Susan, Johnny, Reed, Ben, you see Victor Von Doom, and all these characters. That's fine and dandy. And then you see some concepts and some ideas from the Ultimate Universe. And then for a split second, when this movie began, and you see a little Reed Richards with high school friend Ben Grimm, or school friend Ben Grimm, you're like, hey, maybe this movie will go somewhere. No, it didn't. As soon as you see an older Miles pretending to be a teenager in high school doing a science fair project, it just looked awful, in my opinion. By the way, Dan Castellaneta, I love Dan, and I think he's amazing, obviously from The Simpsons and all the other stuff he's done, but his character was the worst science teacher I've ever seen. At least my crappy science teachers actually cared about the stuff I was making. This guy was just like, nope, it's magic, drop it. What? Soon afterward, you get Franklin Storm, Dr. Storm, and you get Susan, and they're seeing Reed's experiment. I don't care if I'm spoiling the movie. Don't watch it. It sucks. The movie then turns into this weird mishmash of Ultimate Universe versus make up your own thing kind of day. And then it just starts going downhill once they reach the Baxter Building, in my opinion. And, the Fantastic Four live in New York City, right at the heart of it. And they are so integral to it. Their building is one of the skyscrapers there, just like the Avengers Tower or Oscorp, in the comic books. But no, you spend all the movie in hangars and these dark and shady places. You practically don't see the outside world. And it was really just bland and boring and just ugh. Speaking of bland, awful, and Victor Von Doom. I'm so glad they stuck to the name, but this version was just horrible. Everything's horrible in this movie. What am I saying? Yeah, this version of Dr. Doom if you can even call him a Doctor or Doom, whatever. You see this character who's hackerish, I guess. That's what I got from the first impression. He is not that mystic, totalitarian, just overall badass that I know him from the comic books. He's a scientist, I guess. But just like the Ultimate Universe, he quickly works on the think tank, if you will, on the Baxter Building, and they're trying to crack interdimensional travel. Now this could be badass, but it isn't. What's wrong, Fox? Here's the thing. You spend practically no time explaining this shit, and the Fantastic Four thrive on scientific knowledge and just explaining all these how these things work. And no, you just like, here's a thing, and we're gonna travel to another dimension and bring it back, and let's just show a montage of how we build it. And in like 1 or 2 minutes, boom, it's done. It's over with. And then slowly but surely you get introduced to all the missing pieces. You get to see the Human Torch, or Johnny Storm. And let's just say this, fans and the media and everybody was bitching that purist Fantastic Four fans were going to be upset, and they shouldn't be, because you can interpret these characters in different races and all that stuff, and you shouldn't criticize Michael B. Jordan's portrayal, because he can play the character just like the original, and just like a Caucasian white actor, whatever. That's awesome. Yes, if he would have done that, right on. But this movie had zero comedy, zero family values. Dr. Storm was all high and mighty about we stick together as a family, and yet these characters barely interacted with each other. Just 1 or 2 lines between everybody. Ben doesn't show up until the last act when everybody's together for the final fight. But then Johnny Storm, Michael B. Jordan's character, is just completely different from the Johnny Storm that I know, that I grew up with. He's a hot rod, and he's into the whole car scene and whatnot, but that's about it. I've never seen Johnny Storm, at least in the stuff that I've read, I've never seen him worried about building these complex machines and just, I don't know, it was just a weird Johnny Storm. I thought it was way off the mark. This was not Johnny. He just looked like the Human Torch with his powers, and he had the name, but I think he played something completely different. The Johnny Storm I know would be chasing women, riding hot, cool cars, and flying around and being an overall lovable jackass. Michael B. Jordan's character was just alright, I guess. I don't know. Then we move on to Ben Grimm, who at the start of the movie is actually pretty influential in Reed Richards' growing up. Obviously, they pulled it straight from the Ultimate Universe, where Reed's adopted parents don't really care that much for whatever Reed's doing, especially his stepdad, he's a dick in the comic book. Ben, on the other hand, has stuck by Reed's side, and for like half the movie you don't see him. He disappears because, alright, I get it, it's not for me, this place is not for me, whatever. But then he goes back in, they make the trip to End Zone, Planet Zero, whatever, which is obviously the negative zone, but I don't know why they didn't say it after they get all their powers and stuff. Which, by the way, not having Susan there and just her getting the powers via a different route was just weird to me. It didn't make a lot of sense why she, whatever. But yeah, Ben, after becoming the Thing, Jesus, he's such an asshole. I hated that character. Ben Grimm is supposed to be fun, loving, and just an overall nice person to everybody. He has this horrible condition, and he looks horrible. He's a monster, and yet you see the goodness, the kind-heartedness in this character, especially with the baby blue eyes. And none of that was here. He was just pissed off. I hate you, Reed. And yes, he said that in the comic book before, but on this movie, like, you could not, if you saw that, you would not have guessed that they were friends a few minutes ago when they were in high school. I don't know. Then with Reed, I thought they did a cool job of doing a younger one, like the Ultimate Universe, where he's starting to learn all these cool things. Maybe Franklin Storm should have been more of a parental figure than what was shown, and him learning about stuff with Dr. Storm. And it was just a missed opportunity. The movie was too short. It did not spend time with its characters. They were not really developed whatsoever. Look-wise, they looked okay-ish, in my opinion. I didn't mind the costumes not being there. I don't really care for the costumes right away. Dr. Doom, if you can even call him that, when he finally shows up, you guys remember the Batman Arkham Knight Riddler robots? If not, look it up. Dr. Doom is exactly that Riddler robot, but uglier and stupider. That's what he is. And out of nowhere, he has this magical ability to just, boom, zap the shit out of something and kill it. I've never seen that before. No mysticism, no nothing. He was just a zombie. I think that's what he was. He was a zombie robot mesh thing that was just out there to destroy the world. And you see it, like, they're asking him, like, why do you want to do this? I want to destroy the world because whatever, the other place is better. No, really, no mention of Latveria whatsoever. I was expecting maybe he would go back there and be all the badass leader, but no, we just got a weird-ass AI robot thing. It was just as expressionless as a kabuki mask, basically. I thought it sucked. I thought everything sucked. Jesus. It's been a horrible day. Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you, Fox, for ruining my day. I was expecting something, and I got nothing out of it. I'm so used to them being so happy, so adventurous, scientists, explorers, and just doing good. I was not expecting this hour-long drama of just, what do we do with our powers? And let's get Reed back. He escapes Hulk style. I don't know why he went to Panama. It makes no sense. And then when they come back and they find Dr. Doom in the negative zone, then it's just a totally different movie. That final, I'm not invested in this. And by the final fight, I could care less. The visuals were crappy. It really looked like the first movies. The first two movies back in 2005 and 7 with Chris Evans and everybody else. It looked like of that era with cheap special effects and whatever. I've talked about this for too long. I think to summarize everything, excuse me, Fox is being a dick for not giving the rights back to Marvel and Disney. I think they should. Just keep your X-Men universe if you want. It'll fail as well. But please, hand over the Fantastic Four. We need the F4 back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I took a gamble and watched this movie so I could review it and be back here at A Week in Geekdom, but now it's just like, how do I even do this anymore? It was just bad, man. I don't know. And they're even talking about sequels and not giving up on these characters. Yes, you should give up. Like you gave up on Daredevil. Just give up. Please, let Marvel and let Disney take a crack at it. I don't care if we have to see, and I got a shout out, Andre Coleman. I got this shout out from Andre Coleman on Pasadena, California via Periscope, which we were periscoping just a few minutes ago. He basically brought on this idea that maybe we should see the Fantastic Four characters in the Avengers world. Maybe have Reed show up separately, the Thing could show up elsewhere, and then you tie them all back together like a mini reboot, like a mini Phase Zero, if you will, and just see if the interest is there. Because I think the Fantastic Four are awesome. They're one of my favorite families in comic books and in fiction. I think you can do so much with them. They have such an important value to the Marvel Universe that it's just a shame that we've gotten that crappy 94 movie that never came out. We got the 2005 Crap Fest, the later one with Silver Surfer, and now this awful piece of shit. I think, I brought some books here with me that I can recommend to you guys. Just read the books. Don't watch the movies. But I think you could do so much. You did not have to do this. You could have done something with Annihilus, with Blastar, the Negative Zone. You could maybe have referenced the Silver Surfer, Galactus, the Skrulls, Ronan. I know Ronan was in Guardians, but it's a shared thing. You could do so much. They've got the rights to so many cosmic characters. And that's what these guys are. You know what I would have done? I would have done a Prometheus-style Fantastic Four movie, but lighter and more humorous, that family interaction, the pranks between Johnny and Ben, and all that teasing, that romance with Reed and Susan. They're one of my favorite couples in comic books. But no, we saw something completely different here, folks. And it shows. It shows that the first half of the movie is completely separate from that final atrocious act. So as a PSA, if you see badness, steer away from it and just don't watch it. If by some degree the following Fox movies look like crap, it's probably because they are. So don't watch them. I'm sorry, Fox. It sucked. And you guys suck for not giving up the rights back. You do not want them. Apparently this movie was made just to not lose the rights. You were not doing anything with them. Now you're going to come out and say, oh, it's a parallel universe. It's not within the X-Men universe. Sure, because you knew it sucked, and you're distancing from it. You wanted to do this crossover. It's not going to happen. Let the Marvel Cinematic Universe enjoy the richness of space. Let the Heralds, let Galactus, let all these amazing characters interact with Thanos and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Let the Kree finally have a feud with the Skrulls. Because, I'm sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy, that came out of nowhere. You broke the treaties, Andarians. I don't know. And he just wanted to destroy stuff. Same with Doom, apparently. And the whole beam thing that looked like Mass Effect at the end, or Avengers, or something. I don't know. All I know is, oh, and two things before I wrap up. One, what the hell was up with the claw ring time? It's such an iconic phrase that Ben uses it as a fun little gag, like, it's gonna happen. No, has some psychological issues. He's clearly traumatized by his older brother beating him, and is verbalizing that. And is a military goonhead, just doing the dirty work and probably killing people. That's not Ben Grimm. I'm sorry. Ben is one of my favorites, and he's just as tough as the Hulk. He's as kind as some of the other characters, and really, this movie just did an awful job. I am so embarrassed that I even had to watch that piece of crap, and it's just, oh my god. The second thing I wanted to mention is that if you want to read some epic Fantastic Four things, and I'm going to drop the microphone here for a little bit, please do read Ultimate Fantastic Four if you want to read an alternate take and not that shit that they did. I'm sorry for the language. I know I try to do this for the kids, but I'm pissed off now. Ultimate Fantastic Four. It's a cool adaptation or cool reimagining by Mark Miller, and really the way it should have gone down. Here's a quick snippet. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. What you did was awful. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And if you want to read something more 616-y-ish from the regular Marvel Universe, of course you can go with the Marvel Omnibus for Jonathan Hickman's legendary run on the Fantastic Four. On parallel with some of the best in the franchise, this run was just beautiful. It exemplified what I like about this team, and this is something everybody should read. It's fantastic. It's Fantastic Four. This is quality stuff. There you go. Inhumans. I love the Inhumans. They're my favorite team in the Marvel world. You got the Fantastic Four doing their thing. It was just a whole lot better than whatever the hell I saw in the theater. I want my $5 back, Fox. Seriously. I just want these characters done right. And it's frustrating. There's 4 movies, and they've all sucked so far. I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Periscope, Pinterest, anything else in between. You probably type in A Week in Geekdom on your favorite social media platform. I'll be there. I even got a Snapchat, which I don't use because it's like too complicated for me. But I have it, and go watch it. Go watch me do stuff. I try to Periscope at least once or twice a week with just nerdy rants. So if you want to see me live with this handsome face, this beardedness, you can do so. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another epic discussion, more like a rant. I'm exhausted. I need a glass of water. I'm going away. Like this video, subscribe. I want to give a shout out to everybody on Periscope. I had like 30 views on my iPhone. people were. I'm sorry, I have an iPhone. Android users, I know it's the same thing. It's both suck. Whatever. I was on Periscope, and it was a really warm reception. Like 30 people joined in. Probably like 5 or 10 stuck by the whole thing. So really, Andre, thank you once again. Andre from Pasadena, California. Thank you for chatting with me. Cool dude. And yeah, next episode of the rundown, of this little rundown, I'm going to Periscope while I record this and upload it on YouTube, so I can give you guys shout outs and just chat live with any questions and stuff. I can answer them. Whatever. That's enough ranting. This movie sucks. I don't have a metric or a rating system, but if I were to give it something out of something, it would be a horrible movie out of crappiness and awful things. Don't watch it. Save yourself the money. Go watch something else. You know what? Watch the Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes animated series. Best representation of the characters outside the comic books. That's the Fantastic Four. Go watch them. You'll thank me later. Later, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to another installment. You can keep the conversation going through your favorite social media platform. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, like our fan page on Facebook, and favorite our pics on Instagram. You can also write to us for feedback, suggestions, and such via aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Until next time,